What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. We're focusing on what's next in Vegas. Obviously, they named George McPhee their general manager yesterday, and the wheels are starting to roll. The expansion draft is about 11 months away. They're going to be looking to add some talent, via free agency next July, the draft next year as well. So there's a lot of avenues for Vegas to improve their team before it even hits the ice. That being said, I'm intrigued by why they. I'm not intrigued. I'm mystified as to what the holdup on their team name is going to be. Supposedly, it was going to be the Black Knights because the owner Foley is a West Point graduate, obviously the Black Knights nods. And I guess the U.S. Army has it copyrighted, and it's a little bit more than a formality to get it, to be a pro sports name. That's a holdup. And then I loved the Gamblers, the 21s, the Blackjacks. There's all these awesome names, and the NHL won't let any of the team names have anything to do with gambling, which, alright, fine. But when you think of Las Vegas, you think of gambling. Well, and you know what? Gambling, alcohol, women of the night. But, it's, it is what it is. So, if I were the Las Vegas, if I were George McPhee right now, I'd be outlining, what's our plan going to be before we get to the expansion draft. Obviously GMs will be tipping off who's going to be left unprotected. I think it's according to, people in LA, the foregone conclusion Dustin Brown will be claimed, which makes sense. He needs to get to the salary cap floor, and I know his offense is kind of dried up in LA, but he's a two-time Stanley Cup champion. If he's your first captain of an expansion team, I think that's a really good situation for a new team. So that's something. And the other thing is, I would go really, really heavy on this draft. And I know, your draft picks aren't going to pan out for 3, 4, 5 years, whatever. But this is your first opportunity. You're guaranteed a top 3 or 4 pick. So, you can get a Nolan Patrick, Kaier Yamamoto. There's plenty of really talented guys right there. And then, if you can continue to knock said picks out of the park, in the 2nd through 7th rounds, you're in good shape. In terms of free agency next year, I would be intrigued by the possibility of adding a Ben Bishop type player if he gets to free agency. Likewise, Shattenkirk. I'm just kind of looking at some good free agents next year. Brad Marchand. Martin Hands already plays in the Southwest. You got some really good quality players out there that for a first-year team you can use. And likewise, they got the expansion draft. So, build a little bit through there, get some youth into the organization. To be honest with you, I would try to have as good a farm system as possible because, I think the team's going to have its struggles in its first few years. But once you get past that, when you develop young players and have reinforcements coming up through the ranks, I think that's going to be the way to go. And the weird thing is, my dad mentioned this to me, it wouldn't have been the worst idea to let them have draft picks this year, because think about it, none of the kids are going to the NHL anyway. Most of the kids wouldn't be in the NHL anyway. So, you can stash them in college, junior, Europe, wherever. Kind of something that maybe could have worked out. Obviously, they didn't have a GM until today, and the wheels weren't totally in motion until a few weeks ago. But, I think it was the Arizona Diamondbacks, a baseball team, had, and I know baseball's a little bit different because you got to do, 15 years in the minors before you sniff the major leagues, but they had a minor league system in place, and they put a ton of work, ton of money into it for about 2 or 3 years before the Diamondbacks actually made it to the, where it came into existence. So that gave them a leg up on the competition, and that obviously helped them, win a World Series in 2001. So that would have been an interesting thought, but here's the situation. You got your expansion draft, your entry draft, free agency. There's going to be trades to be made. You got assets. See what happens. So if I'm George McPhee, the next 52 weeks are going to be a lot of work, but I think it'll be worth it at the end to see this product. And I think it's cool for McPhee. You get to build a team exactly the way you want it. You're not walking into a team where, there's already guys there. It's like, all right, this team is to be exactly in my image, so it's pretty cool. If I could be any NHL GM, I'd want to be George McPhee right now. Plus, I like Las Vegas. Anyway, that's all I got this episode of the Power Play with CJ. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the off season and beyond. Later, guys.